October housing starts beat expectations, falling only slightly from strong gains in September and up more than 16% over last year. As more houses enter the market, where should you be looking to invest? Greg Rand, radio host and CEO of real estate website OwnAmerica, is back with us now, and he's got two cities in particular to consider. All right, so we have the national data coming at us from the housing market. We're trying to figure out where's the bottom, where do we go from here, how long is the weak housing market can be an overall drag on the economy. But you see some bright spots, particularly in two cities where there's a lot of upside potential. So let's start with Austin.
Austin, Texas, right. Austin, Texas is the state capital of what people argue is the best run state in the country. Okay, it's one of the best run states. So it's a highly efficiently run city inside of a highly efficiently run state. It's got a lot of tourism coming into it. There's actually a lot of culture in that city. But we track migration patterns. Where are people going? Where are jobs going? And Texas is sucking population from all over the rest of the country like crazy, and Austin is part of that. But there's a story behind the story. If you look at the housing price numbers in Austin, most of Texas, including Austin, has basically bucked the whole housing recession. Right? They've got some pain, but it's not anywhere near as traumatic as it is in other places. And the reason for that is the Texas Association of Realtors over the last 15 years has been fighting allowing home equity lending to go up to 100% financing. In other words, they effectively limited home equity lending up to 80% of value. So where there's negative equity in a lot of parts of the country as a result of 100% financing, they literally fought against their own self-interests.
Police themselves.
Exactly right.
Yeah, now look at Austin. I know college towns are great, just inherently, and Austin is sort of a really, it's not like Ames, Iowa. It's a big college town, but it's also a government seat. I mean, they're in the state of Texas. So it has both of those things going for it. How many jobs are we talking about are government jobs? A lot of them, probably.
A lot of them, but it's not a bloated government. Okay, it's an efficient government. So in places where we're afraid we have a bloated government, and if the governor changes hands, they're going to be losing a lot of jobs. We don't see that kind of same problem in Austin. But you're right. If you go down the main drag in Austin, it's not quite at the level of like Nashville or New Orleans, but it's kind of tapping on the door in terms of just the people in the streets and the bars and the restaurants. So it's a draw. Colleges drive investor opportunities there also because of a transient, people base in that regard. Research, yeah. So it's a good buy.
I was in actually Nashville recently moderating an economics conference, commercial real estate actually to be exact, and it was interesting the discussion because Nashville as a city feels very much in competition with Austin as well as Charlotte, these second-tier cities. The competition is really, really stiff right now as to luring new business and building up this infrastructure and drawing new population growth.
And they're all winning is the point. They're all competing with
Charlotte,
New York and Boston and
especially
D.C.
with the banking industry there and what's going on.
Charlotte is killing it right now. Charlotte, if you look at
Even with Bank of America being headquartered there?
One in every two households in this country has an account with Bank of America. Okay, so I know Bank of America is getting hammered on a daily basis, but they are a phenomenal corporation. Okay, yeah, there's layoffs, but Charlotte is an example of a city that was made by virtue of being in partnership with a company. Okay, way back 25 years ago, Nations Bank started down there. They were on an acquisition binge. They ended up buying Bank of America, changing their name. But they established Charlotte as one of the top two banking centers in the country by virtue of the biggest bank being based there. So that's kind of like a sun with a whole solar system revolving around it.
Yeah.
So it is pulling people in. It's pulling from the north, but it's also pulling from Florida, which is interesting, that halfback trend of people who are in Florida who are running away from the New Yorkers who are flooding Florida right now.
It's like Atlanta. You know, I'm from Atlanta. It was 30 years ago. You have all these huge state schools around, and where are all these people going to go when they graduate to get jobs? They all went to Atlanta, and now they're all starting to go to Charlotte, and so it's bringing in a lot of really young talent.
And oftentimes, don't look past the idea that they're cool cities.
Yeah.
They have great climate. They have a high standard of living, a low cost of living. And in both of those examples, you can buy a 3-bedroom house for anywhere from 100 to 150 grand right now. You can rent it out for like an 8% profit just on the rent. And if you hold it, we're forecasting 12 to 14% returns annually if you hang on to it 10 years and catch the appreciation.
Well, Greg, the cost of living differences across the country is a whole nother segment that we'll have to talk about another time. But for now, Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Greg. All right, well, Jeffrey's CEO